coraggiosa. Rock.
Il suo timbro vocale, unico.
Meravigliosa.
Un piacere lavorarci insieme.
Latin America, Europe, the United States. Her music and her onstage grit are now world-renowned. Her name is Lili Rocha. Girl conquering the world. A singer performing from New York to Los Angeles, with lines forming outside the most exclusive nightclubs.
Everywhere, when we went to radio, the TV, the news, people embraced her and absolutely loved her personality, her music, and her positivity. So many fans, new fans that came to her shows would want to hug her and want to hang out with her and want to know more about her music.
Lili Rocha's artistic history reads like a fairy tale, like those that used to be told to children before they went to sleep. But this fairy tale is not about a princess, but a singer who is not afraid to put herself out there, leaving her home and her family to pursue her dream.
We went out into the streets, bars, restaurants, and people loved it. When I performed in bars, they were filled to the rafters. Then I won a beauty contest, and when they announced my name, the first thing that came to mind was that I was getting a new opportunity, and I could study singing, learn another language, and sing.
And it is in the pursuit of this dream that Lili has decided to cross the ocean, visiting countries and cities quite different from those she frequented as a little girl. After winning a contest in Brazil, Lili decides to travel, visiting Italy, Portugal, and Switzerland. And it is in Switzerland, in fact, where she has one of the most important encounters for her artistic growth, with Maestro Antonio Guglielmi and l'Accademia di Musica Italiana.
So I came to Europe, and the first thing I did was look for a school. I went to the Italian Academy, where I was given the phone number of a teacher. When I spoke to him on the phone and heard his voice, I immediately thought, this is the man who will help me.
One morning, she came to our school with a strong desire to learn to sing. Her will to sing was truly palpable. That's how I met her.
Determination. This is one of Lili Rocha's characteristic traits, even though her choice did not come without suffering.
When you're very young and you have so many dreams and ambitions, you don't realize how hard it is to leave home. Your mom and dad try to give you advice, but you don't listen to them. The wish to come here, to learn another language and sing in another language was too strong.
Sacrifices, study, and homesickness for Brazil. It's called saudade, a Portuguese term that doesn't mean merely sadness. Saudade is the perception that happiness, too, is a fleeting, ephemeral mood.
Now homesickness, that's the price you have to pay. To stay away from your family, your roots, your friends, and all the people you care about.
And like a true Brazilian, Lili lived for a long time with this sentiment. Her choice of putting out records in Portuguese, Spanish, Italian, and English was not an accident. It served to demonstrate how multifaceted Lili Rocha's artistic abilities were, and at the same time opening doors to different recording markets for her. Lili is good, and yet there was the risk of staying on the sidelines, as happens to so many people. But one day the artist crossed paths with producer Matthias Ertle.
The first time I met Lili was in Sanremo. I was looking for a singer at the time to interpret my songs, someone young and fresh. I was looking for a singer, and when I saw Lili on stage, I immediately realized she was the one.
La nuova libertà
She has a strong presence. She's very natural on stage. Her voice, well, it's unique. It can't be confused with any other. She's a very expressive and emotional singer. I was fascinated by her, and so we started working together.
Matthias and Lili go into the studio to rehearse the first songs. It is at this time that Maurizio Anastasi comes in as publisher.
The first 3 albums sold the most, for sure. Above all, the first one, Me Deja Soñar, that sold in excess of 75,000 copies. Then Recomeçar, with 40,000 copies sold. And the third, a live music album, sold 40,000 copies, which is really a lot for a live album.
Recomeçar is amongst the products most beloved by those who are at Lili Rocha's side. Valeriano Chiaravalle, who arranged the first 3 albums, confirms this.
The album that excited me the most is definitely Recomeçar. It was the album following our first collaboration, so we had worked together on a few tracks already. Working on Recomeçar, I began to understand where Lili was going, and above all, Lili's potential.
Publishing a live CD is a wager. Listeners do not always like this kind of formula. The sound may be raw, a little rough around the edges. And yet, this time, Lili Rocha was pleasantly satisfied. The CD sold beyond all expectations, probably because it fully reproduces the force of impact of seeing Lili Rocha on stage. In 2007 came Amuleto, a CD with 12 tracks sung in Portuguese, distributed by Warner. A disc that was romantic yet full of energy and sensuality. In other words, a full-blown artistic manifesto for Lili, who finally showed how the girl from Brazil had become a major figure in international music. Many have defined Amuleto as striking a perfect balance between music and poetry. Lili is so linked to this record that the subsequent concert series in 2008 was organized as the Amuleto Tour. And it was this tour that gave rise to the idea of publishing a live CD as well, titled Lili Rocha Live. Lili is now a star. She had left Brazil, and now she's ready to go back. The United States are awaiting her, and she publishes her first album in English, titled Lili Rocha Rocks. Italy, Brazil, Portugal, Switzerland, and now the United States recognize Lili as an artist capable of capturing the attention of American audiences.
2 years ago, Lili launched her first English album, and we started from New York, Miami, Los Angeles, and she made a huge impact. Watching her come to the United States was the most bold and brave move, which I couldn't have done. Here, there's so much competition, so many new artists, young artists. You feel good?
Yes.
Are you excited for your show tonight?
Yes. Yeah.
Molly Malone's.
Molly Malone.
Oh, finally!
I know. I am Molly Malone. But I'm alright. I'm alright. Yes, I'm alright. As long as I can keep my
Concerts take place in Los Angeles, Miami, and New York. They will be the first of a long series. Lili now makes herself at home in the Big Apple.
It was very amazing to see the different types of fans in New York, the different types of fans in Miami and in Los Angeles. And I got to witness her first time in the United States, and she was the most professional, and we had a lot of fun. We have a lot of behind-the-scenes memories that we'll always cherish. And sometimes we didn't sleep. We had to get on the next flight. We had to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. And I thought, there's no way she could do it. But she was strong the entire way, and it was the most memorable.
Success is within reach. Her first gig at Molly Malone's, the right place for the American public to hear a warm and gritty voice. Lili Rocha's. Memories from the first trip to the States also include a visit to Miami's legendary Tobacco Road, one of the metropolis's oldest hotspots. Tobacco Road is home to a variety of musical genres: reggae, rap, funk, blues, and of course, Latin American music.
Aspetta che lui ti dà il segno con la batteria.
Perché lui ha fatto come se un segno.
So you don't
Di non fare una cosa
until the end.
così.
Oh, kiss it over. Just bring it till at the end.
The American Mini Tour ended with a performance at New York's Fat Baby on the Lower East Side of Manhattan. The Big Apple also saw another concert at the bitter end, known as the oldest rock and roll club in New York City. The Greenwich Village Club marked a worthy end to Lili's first experience in the United States, during which the artist highlighted her passion for rock and her way of interpreting it in accordance with a personal Latin taste. Lili launches her final attack on the American market with the album Into the Fire, a title that goes beyond the characters printed on the CD sleeve.
Now, with this new second album, Into the Fire, I think she has grown and progressed so much more, not only as an artist, but as a woman who is ready to risk it all, just like the album itself. Her independence. She's walking not only into the fire, but Lili told me, Christine, this album is not only about walking into the fire and into the challenges, it's about how you walk through the fire and learn from all the challenges and grow as an artist and as a woman. And I think it's the most brave record that she has done.
Take me away. I want these chains. Got plastic glass in my heart. Come take me away.
America was a non-stop party for Lili. Now she's a mainstay at the bitter end, and the United States have become her second home. 5 performances in New Jersey, New York, and Los Angeles. A well-oiled machine stands behind Lili, and she's the driving force. But one can't forget the musicians that accompanied her on her last tour of the States. A band that showed exceptional professionalism on stage, as well as a considerable impact on the public. One step after another, without missing a single beat, 2 new videos were filmed in international settings between Europe and the streets of New York. These works are based on very strong tracks, and the Pensa Bene video is the result of filming done between Venice and Zurich. The second video, Into the Fire, includes the best images from Lili's concert on her 2013 US tour, with stops at the bitter end in New York, and Rain, and at the House of Blues in Los Angeles.
She's bringing the Italian culture into the US market and crossing over, and I think it's incredible to see. And the shows are getting bigger, more fans are dancing with her. wanting to be with her and interact with her. And I think it's incredible. And I hope that it grows more and more from here for her. And really, Lili Rocha is going to be a household name and an artist here in the United States.
How Pensa Bene came into being is told by John Watts, the new songwriter who works assiduously with the star.
Well, you know, I wrote a couple songs that were very specifically for Lili. One was Find Your Star, which I think really tells the story that Lili wants to say. And then the song Pensa Bene was an idea that I had. It wasn't really part of the plan, but I just had this urge to get her to sing in Italian. I have an Italian background. I'm actually an Italian citizen, which I was able to accomplish the last couple of years. So I have a very strong connection with Italy, and you know, Lili has a very strong connection with Italy. And I felt very strongly that I wanted to at least give her an opportunity to sing in that language. You know, we knew that she was doing the English thing, and you know, her American rock sound is very authentic. But I really wanted to hear what would happen, and you know, she exceeded my expectations. I think everyone's expectations, and I think it's a wonderful affirmation that I, you know, felt.
Pensa Bene is thus one of Lili Rocha's strongest new efforts. The professionals that worked with her were also among those that appreciated it.
I don't know that I have one favorite song of Lili's. Right now, obviously, we're all enjoying Pensa Bene. But I think I like some of the rock songs that she has. So there's a lot of the tunes that I like.
Almost 10 years have passed since Lili was singing on the streets of her neighborhood. The road has been long and arduous, and melancholy at times. Her path is not just one of a singer, but of a woman with moxie and strength to spare. A true fairy tale with a happy ending.
Lili, well, she's a person who doesn't make any compromises. I'd say she's a fanatic in her attitude towards life, her friends, and art. She doesn't do things to please the world, but because she feels it's the right thing to do.
Some future projects in the works. She's going to be performing at more festivals here in the United States and more nightclub shows, and really she wants to get to know more of her surroundings.
The fairy tale of Lili continues. All this thanks to the character of a woman who has never given up.
Te deixou mais forte pra ir andando.
Lili never stops. Her life philosophy can be summed up in these 3 words.
One thing I always say to myself is that even if the world collapses around us, destroying everything that is ours, we must always say, I can.